The idea that we create something that is so much greater than ourselves that it ends up becoming the creator is absolutely fascinating. Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Leslie, and yes, today I actually have a bookshelf as a background, but sadly no, it is not mine. I currently live with two of my best friends and these are their bookshelves, but because I bought a professional photography light, I can actually have light in this room which normally has zero natural light. So I thought, why not have something to look at in the background today. Oh my god guys, if you haven't read this yet, what are you waiting on? It was so good. I like the first one, I give it a 4 stars out of 5, but this one I'm giving a 4.5. It was so much better than the first one, and the first one was already pretty good. I really like that at the end of the book is a author commentary section that's like 20 pages long, and Mr. Shusterman says himself that as much as this book is about Citra and Rowan and the various characters we love and hate, this book is also about that omnipresent, near all-powerful being that holds humanity in the palm of its virtual hand. And that is such a good summary as to what Thunderhead is about. This will be a non-spoiler review, although I need to talk about these things, so I may do a second video that will be spoiler full, and I have some really non-conventional opinions about this book and this story, so I may do a second video just to rattle some cages. And if you haven't seen my review of Scythe, it should scroll up here somewhere. And so in Scythe, I explained that the world is monitored by this omnipresent, almost all-powerful being that's called the Thunderhead. And the Thunderhead is the iCloud, our current iCloud, just, with 200 years worth of development. And I say almost all-powerful because the Thunderhead has nothing to do with Scythes or Scythe business. It does not interfere in their work and in their presence at all. It guides all other aspects of human life. It communicates with humans, it takes care of them, has gotten rid of famine and despair and poverty. It even brought back species that were on the extinct list. So it can do all sorts of things. But now we get its side of the story because it sees all, knows all, and sure as hell has an opinion as to all the things that Scythes are doing, and precisely things that the corrupt Scythes are doing. So here's what I really liked about this book. I really like to see Citra's evolution as a Scythe as she chooses to glean, which is to kill people. That's just the politically correct term, to glean. When she chooses to glean people, she does it with such compassion, even though it's a really big inconvenience to her, and I really like to see that portrayed. Here's what I don't like. I don't understand the romance between Citra and Rowan. I read the words, I could see that it was happening, it just sort of, in my opinion, evolved out of nowhere, and I just don't feel it. I just don't understand the connection. They spent a few months together and all of a sudden it's big love. I just don't get it, and that's what bothers me about this whole story. But that's really it. There are a lot of new characters that are introduced, some that we saw in the previous book come back, some that we love, some that we love to hate, and so it's a lot of side stories that are connected to Rowan and Citra's lives. I once again really enjoyed reading about this immortality concept and the idea that if we could live forever, we would be so incredibly bored with our lives, especially if everything was already provided for us, if working was not a necessity but a hobby. To what end do you live your life if everything you achieve is not out of necessity but just out of boredom, and anything you do really doesn't amount to anything and it's just really not important? And another really cool concept that is introduced in this novel is whether benevolent observation is an intrusion. Today in our lives we are observed by ton of cameras, whether it's on the highway, at the bank, at the store. We're even tracked by our own phones and GPSs, and all of this is for our convenience and protection, right? But if all these cameras were watched by one single person, would that disturb you? And these are the questions that are raised in this novel. So it's really cool because we can actually relate to that. We can see how the future in Thunderhead is not so far off from art today. In the first novel, Scythe, I complained about how many things were predictable. Well, holy crap, not in this one. I did not see any of it coming, and wow. And oh my god, this ending was so good. It was so suspenseful. My heart was beating so fast. I don't even know how I feel about this turn of events. So, the reason I am giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 and not a 5 is because I still don't care about these characters. I just don't care if one of them dies. I don't care for their romance. I find it a little bizarre. But these questions that are coming out of this book, it's making me reflect on what's going on in today's age, is why I love this series so much. This was a fantastic sequel to the first novel, and I hope that you'll pick it up. I can say that I am converted. I am a Neal Shusterman fan. I love his writing. I love these ideas and concepts that are coming out of these books, and I'll probably look for some of his other novels that are listed in Scythe and Thunderhead. This is it for today's review of Thunderhead. I may or may not do a second video thinking about it. I know that we're moving Monday to North Carolina. We're gonna have to drive 12 hours and then unload all of our stuff, so I don't know if I'll have the time to do a second video, so I'll just quickly share what some of my unpopular opinions are. For example, I don't agree with all of Goddard's thinking, but I do agree that if a scythe is not wanting to glean as many people as they're supposed to, then someone who enjoys it maybe a little more should be able to pick up the slack. My roommate thinks that that makes me a sociopath, but I'm not saying that I want them to do, you know, massive gleanings. I think that if the scythedom was able to control the way that their scythes are killing people, then someone who is willing to kill more people than someone else should be able to do it. So what do you think about that? Should someone that wants to do more gleaning be able to do it rather than someone who doesn't want to do it and it's making them miserable? As long as it is in a controlled manner. So don't forget, guys, I post videos every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!